Sway. There's Max. I'm somehow in the mix here, and I'm loving it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
and
you
I
are.
think, yeah, man, this is great. And I will tell you, it's great because of one reason: Draymond Green. Draymond Green, baby. What the hell? Double standard? I agree with them. I'm going to throw it to Max.
You agree with him, Nick? Normally, you are pro management.
Psych!
You are.
I don't agree.
I knew it. I knew it.
Knew that was Jesus.
No,
What?
I'll start there.
I'm surprised
Listen,
you let off with this.
Yeah, why not? Because I know it's a topic that's on the tip of our tongue. Because and truthfully, I know you two are going to disagree with me, so I like that. And I just feel like it's any other. It's an at-will employment, and you can get fired for any reason except asking to do something illegal. And therefore, if they want to arrest somebody, like Drummond, they should be able to. And in turn, if they want to fire somebody like Harden, they should be able to. So, meaning, the two comparisons. Max, what say you? I know you're going to hate everything I
I'm
just
trying
said.
to figure out, like, where were you at with that, Nick? I mean,
What do you mean?
you went down the street and then came back, and I don't even know where you're at. The topic here is that Draymond Green is talking about a double standard in the NBA, saying that owners get mad at James Harden when he wanted to leave town and he dogged it.
As they
But
should.
at the same time, when players have guaranteed contracts, then teams sit them out and say, okay, we're ready to trade you now, but we're not going to play you. So you can just sit out now. So where's the big difference at? Because they're running the team.
Yeah, but Max, this is a whole
I
other
heard
part
that.
of this that it's easy for Draymond to leave out. I mean, let's face it. You think Andre Drummond wants to kick it there in Cleveland? He's in on this, right? I think that's the difference there, because whereas when the player is getting traded, or at least in another situation where a player's getting traded and doesn't want to leave, yeah, he has no say in it. Then when the team, I agree with that. It's a double standard.
Yeah, no trade in it.
Oh,
yeah. No, I get it, because you're not the team's not always quote unquote loyal, right? But then when the player's not loyal, there's a big problem.
well, listen, Max, you're right. I did come off all over the place because you know what? It is a double standard, and the employer has a right to employ with a double standard.
Nick likes the double standard.
I'm not saying I would do it, but as an employer.
But how can that be, Nick? And let me give you a good example. Fans were always talking about players not having any loyalty. That was a big thing with LeBron James. Oh my God, he's not loyal to Cleveland at all. He leaves them high and dry.
Destroyed the economy.
Wait a minute. When he played there for 4 years and made them relevant, but once he was a free agent, he had a right to go play someplace else, right?
That
Why
doesn't
were
mean it's
people
right.
burning his jersey and pissed off because he left as a free agent? Now, the same example I'm gonna give you is this one. In 1980,
I know it's coming.
1984,
Here it is.
1984, I signed a 5-year contract with the Celtics.
Oh boy,
For
that's
a
what this is
big
all about,
buck.
huh, man?
You knew this was coming, Joe Sway.
Whoa! I'm just saying here. I'm just giving you an
I
example.
should have seen this coming.
You're talking about loyalty. They decided they wanted to trade me. Where was this loyalty cap that everybody talks about?
Well, they signed you to the contract.
But what they did,
They want to get another championship, Max.
No, they did what was best for the team. That's what they did. They did what they thought was best
That's
for
a whole
the team.
other argument because I don't agree.
Well, that's what they did. They did what they thought was best for the team. And as Joe Sway kicked in, they won another championship.
They would have won several more had they kept it.
Possibility, but they won.
Definitely.
They won one more, but
well, what I mean by that, Max, is that when a team's going to go all in, they're going to go all in. They don't care who's getting traded. Like, that's my point. There's no such thing as loyalty when it's, look, we're trying to win another championship.
Well, don't give me that crap, and don't give me that shit about loyalty to a team when a team can sit down and trade you away. I don't want to hear it.
Max, can you see Dr. J? Could you see Dr. J?
You know what it's called, Nick? It's called a business. Yeah. And look, and do it like this.
That's a double standard.
No, do it like this. Fans should see it as a business, and players see it as a business. So when things happen, nobody should be pissed off. You know, no, you shouldn't be pissed off at me because it said, look, I gotta go. They traded me. I wasn't pissed off. I was like, okay, you know, that's their prerogative. They
But
can
Max,
do
you
what
weren't
they want to
you
do.
weren't in on it though, right?
Uh,
And in a lot of these cases, the players in on it. You
no,
weren't in on it.
no,
Though.
no.
That's the difference.
No. I had
It still
to,
rings true though. It still rings true.
I had to be in on it because
Yeah, he had to approve it.
the way the contracts were set up is I had to redo my contract.
But you didn't initiate it.
To go. No, I didn't.
You
initiate
didn't.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't initiate it.
Okay, I guess that's a better way to put it.
And I didn't initiate it, and I lost money.
Yeah, a lot.
And I lost some money.
And a sneaker deal.
Yeah, I lost some money in the deal. So people start talking about loyalty and, oh my God, let's be loyal to the team. Tom Brady wasn't loyal. This person, when you think about players and what they do, their shelf life is a short one. And if they make decisions from a business standpoint about themselves, fans shouldn't get pissed off about that. I know you can be disappointed, but there's a big difference between disappointment and pissed off that a guy decides to leave. LeBron James made Cleveland relevant. That's what he did. We didn't even know
Drummond is not.
We didn't even know who the hell the Cavaliers were. And he played there for what, 3-4 years, got them to the finals.
Longer.
They didn't win it, he got them to the finals.
Yeah, 7 years.
And he played there, 7 years, played his contract out and decided to go elsewhere. It was a big to-do when he left. Now, people keep saying, well, it was about the decision because he didn't tell Dan Gilbert. He didn't call Dan Gilbert. Well,
the only mistake he ever made.
Dan Gilbert found out just like the rest of us.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to South Beach.
Oh, no, that wasn't my problem, man. At the time, my problem was that he was 25 years old, and I thought he was giving up too easily. That's just me, though. That's just my thing wasn't he should have called Dan Gilbert. My thing was you should just keep trying to beat the older aging Celtics because chances are you're going to get there at some point. I mean,
just like Isaiah Thomas did, just like Michael Jordan, just like the old timers did. So here's my thing. My thing is LeBron knew he was leaving. He started the season and changed his jersey number from 23 to 6 because Miami has 23 retired. 6, he said 23 should never be worn again by anyone, yet he's wearing it now. He chose 6, Dr. J and Bill Russell's number. All right. He knew where he was going because that kidhead,
you said Miami,
Pat Riley,
Miami
retired Jordan's number.
They retired Jordan's number. Oh,
yes. Idiotic, typical. They need to fill seats. But Pat Riley, who we all know on this call, if you guys disagree, I mean, I don't know, but the guy's a friggin', I mean, he's Red Auerbach in the dirtiest sense, if you want to say, from tampering and all that stuff. LeBron knew he was leaving. And then let's face it, Max, you were there. We were there. 2010 elbow, he threw that series. I don't think he gave it any effort whatsoever. The Celtics had no business beating that Cavaliers team. And everybody will go on and on about he had no help, but they won 66 games.
Nick, name me the guys on that Cavalier team other than LeBron.
Shaquille O'Neal, Mo Williams.
Done.
You're already wrong.
Done.
You're
already
El Gauskas.
You're thinking of Cavs 3.0, Nick.
Let me do you like somebody used to say all the time. You're making my point, Nick. Okay.
Well, how'd they win 66 games and they danced all over the court all season?
I got you, Max. I got you.
Names, Nick, and you start saying
Varejao.
No. Wait. You talking about the team that went to the finals?
No, we're talking about the 2010 team when he left.
Well, okay, Nick.
Name
the other team's more fun.
How many of those guys were all-stars? And please don't talk about Shaquille O'Neal being an all-star.
It was still a formidable force. He was a serviceable center.
No, he was not.
Antoine James.
The year later, we gave
Mo
up.
Williams.
The Celtics gave up Kendrick Perkins for him 1 year later.
They gave him up. No, they didn't.
Basically, they went with Jermaine O'Neal injured and Shaquille O'Neal.
Fellas, how do we end up with
him?
Let's circle this in, Josue. You always have to be the lead host because I suck at it.
Next order of business. Go ahead, Nick.
All right, let's reel it in. Drummond doesn't matter. If the teams want to sit him, they could sit him. That's my opinion. And I think what James Harden did was deplorable. He wore a fat suit. I'm pretty sure of it. Look at Max's face. There
We
it
got
is. Next on the line of order of business, the Celtics. Let's start here. Last night, I watched the post-game show. Joe Sway big timed them. He was not available. But one of the big topics was: is Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, are they smart? Are they smart? Are they soft? Can they lead?
I don't think.
Here's the kicker. Wait, Max. There's three.
What's the last one? What's the last one?
The last question is: do you want them? Do you think they're ready to make the All-Star game again? Do you want them on the All-Star team? And it says, hear it out. The playmaster last night, Max, his big argument was, I think they need to work instead of be praised at the All-Star game. I think they need to really work on their skills to get this team in order. Maybe they practice, whatever. And furthermore, I don't know that I want Jason Tatum around the likes of Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, all that colluding that goes on down there at the All-Star game. That was the debate. I think it's interesting.
Nick,
That's interesting.
Let me say what you already said about that. You had already said that Jason Tatum wasn't coming back anyway, and that was a year ago because
all that malarkey.
He was talking to Kyrie Irving. I saw him, and he sat there and I said he's not coming back. And look, don't worry about all that.
You said that, Nick.
Both the guys you talk about are under contract now. Now, if they go down there, I don't care about the All-Star game. What do you think they're going to do? Wait a minute. You think that during these 5 days or whatever it is, or days they have, they're going to go in the gym and practice what? Shooting? Is that what you think is going to happen? No.
I said the playmaster said it, not me. Not that I don't agree with it.
I can tell you the playmaster's wrong here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that, Nick. But you know what, Max?
Jaylen Brown needs this award.
You're about to say,
he busted his ass to get better. So it gives him
and he's mature enough to handle it
on what he's done going to the All-Star game. So I have no problem with it. And do I want the All-Star game? Not really. But I think this is all about the NBA and money. This is what it's about. The NBA is going to make money. Players are going to make money too because of this All-Star game. Don't think that's not the case. So that's what the NBA is doing. They're showcasing the best All-Star. Now watch this, Nick. The best All-Star game in any league.
I would agree with that, but there's no consequences.
Would be the NBA All-Star game. It's much better than the home run derby. Back. Boom! Really?
But isn't there?
I agree with that.
How do you feel about the NHL All-Star game?
Listen, I'm not disputing what you're saying. I agree. It's the best All-Star game in sports, but he's diverting. I'm going to go back with.
How about the NFL? How about the NFL All-Star game?
Do they even have one?
Yeah,
I don't care.
They have it in Hawaii.
It's the Pro Bowl. Of course they have one.
Pro Bowl. So
no, I'm with you, Max. I'm with you because I think it's important for Jaylen Brown because obviously it's his first All-Star selection. He goes home full circle. I mean, we're not going to forget, obviously, what he's been doing on the court, but what he's been doing off the court, just as equally as important. To join the streets of Atlanta, to drive down there from Boston, now to go back as an All-Star, your first All-Star selection. I mean, I think that moment alone for Jaylen Brown is so important so he can bring that back and that momentum. Because, Max, you remember when Jason Tatum got his All-Star selection? He had a different swag to him, right? A little different pep in his step. You know, he was saying what up to people more often. He was had a big smile on his face. He took a lot of people. He took that in stride. I think Jaylen does the same thing.
Yeah, people are looking at you as one of the elite, and I have no problem of him being selected for the All-Star team. I think it's a great honor.
Tatum?
Huh?
Tatum?
Did Tatum make it? I mean, he's gonna probably make it as a alternate.
No, neither made it yet, I don't think, right?
Well, they'll both be on the reserves.
I'm pretty sure Brown, but Tatum probably is gonna make it more of an alternate than Brown, because Brown to whatever people's surprises probably has had the better season of the two.
I'd say so.
A raise from where he was at.
But after everything you just said in the last segment, and being a member of the Celtics organization as you are,
I'm not a member.
Joe Sway's
Don't get a check.
alumni.
Yeah,
You get a check.
if I don't get a check, if I'm not getting a check from somebody, I'm not a member. All right,
You know what I mean.
Take that to the bank.
Literally.
Yeah.
And Joe Sway devoting the amount of time you do to the team working the beat. Are you comfortable with Jason Tatum being around the likes of Kyrie and all the colluding that goes on down there, under contract or not? Do you think it's good for his ego? Do you think he maybe has an ego issue, Sway?
No, I don't think so. I think it's really good for him because he can go and see Kyrie and see all those other all-stars, and he's in a different level now, right, Nick? I mean, this isn't the same guy from a year ago making his first all-star selection. He's in a point of his career where he is the top guy on the Celtics. Yeah, sure, Jaylen Brown's had one heck of a season, but I think Jason Tatum he's going to take that next step in leading this team. And I think that he's going to carry himself in a different way. He has a different perspective now. Seeing LeBron James or seeing Kyrie Irving, obviously someone in Kyrie Irving that he was a teammate in, but he's a different player now. And whatever talks, whatever whispers they try to get into his ear, whatever influence they try to do on Jason Tatum, I think he's smarter than that. And I trust his good judgment, so to speak. But that's an interesting angle from my guy over there, from John. I'm assuming, right? Is that John? I got John.
Playmaster. That's
got John written all over it. I figured.
Can we look at it? Can we look at it differently, though, guys? The All-Star
game. Whatever way you want.
The All-Star game this year is not going to be like it was over the last couple of years.
In Atlanta, Max?
Guys,
sure?
No,
dude, Max, they're having parties
your
out
favorite,
there.
Your favorite adult entertainment center is not going to be open? Are you kidding me? Come on, Max.
I would doubt seriously if you're going to have those players up in them places like that. Because you remember there was the guy, look,
we're going to have that.
You know where Lou Williams' guys' chicken wings at?
Yeah, that's what the party going to be. That's what they're going to be partying up.
So the players aren't.
Kenny Smith's going to have his annual party.
As many, look, just wait. As long as they have these, players are going to be reluctant to be there. And you and I can put a little bit of money on this, but they're going to be reluctant to do that. They're not hanging out like they've done before over the last couple of years because of COVID.
They're going to get creative.
They're trying to get those guys in, and they're trying to get them out. And I don't like the fact that it's Atlanta, but at the same time, I still believe
they don't. Neither does the mayor, Max. Well, the mayor doesn't want it there.
Well, I don't care what she wants. She only reason she's saying she doesn't want it there because of all the people who are going to want to come and get together. But still, you look at the way the NBA is done. This is an opportunity for the league to make money and to give back to some charities. But it's not like the All-Star game of old where collusion. And Nick, you always talking about, well, I don't want him to be around these guys.
I didn't give my opinion on this yet.
You don't think he has Kyrie's number to call him on the phone, or he can zoom in with Kyrie?
It's a lot different in person.
Come on.
Yo, wait, hold on. Actually, you know what, Max? Serious question, Nick. You gonna send a CLNS reporter to Atlanta to cover?
If they're allowing media, I mean,
who wouldn't mind going to Atlanta?
It would be me and you, Joe Clay. I'm going through quarantine hell here. It'd be you and I down in Atlanta, and we would go get chicken wings at where.
Done.
No,
that's done.
Not
all
done.
Right.
No,
right.
in all seriousness,
that's the most important question of the show. Most important question.
I don't.
I just want to take a second and talk about Marigold with their stem cell research has been amazing. I went and did an evaluation, and I ended up getting a shot. And I'm hoping right now I'm going to be back on the court. These guys were brilliant. They communicate well. They give you an education on what it's like. And that is what really, to me, won me over, because not only were they going to give me an operation, a procedure, but they were going to educate me about this procedure. And in learning and being comfortable, that is how you get well, and that's how you become partners. And my big shout out to those guys. They did a fantastic job. Check them out at maragallmedical.com. That's the place to be.
I didn't really love Tatum's reaction to Barkley and Shaq. If you guys watched that, he in real time he found out about it. I didn't love it. It was like someone stole his dog when he was a little kid, Blackie, Max, and it made me think. But the truth is, to me, if there's going to be an all-star game, it should be fair. Jason Tatum is a top-tier player. He should be there. Jaylen Brown absolutely should be there. But pulling this back now to the collusion and the fact that people are concerned about them being around other players, let me throw this at you, Max. Does it still mean something to be a Boston Celtic?
I think it depends. And I did we had a Zoom call with Kemba Walker, and Kemba Walker talked about all of a sudden he felt this Celtic mystique, the mystique that comes along with it. Yeah, there's still that, and I think it's still there. I still believe it's there with the Lakers, and there's certain teams now that you have that swagger that you say, so who'd you play for? Oh, I played for the Celtics. Whoa, I played for the Lakers. Those are the two primary teams. So yeah, I still believe it has a lot of cachet that goes along with it. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of it is about finances and about getting players on different teams. And at the end of the day, it's about winning championships. And this is the bottom line. What will the Celtics do to compete? Can they compete right now as they are? I think that they still need to add pieces, and this team is still incomplete because they have not used that trade exception yet. What is that going to bring? Is it going to be another brilliant stroke by Danny Ainge? That's what everybody, wants to find out if that's going to happen.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, Max. I think just playing at the Garden, I think there's still a mystique to it. You look up, you see those banners. I don't think that's just what people say because they feel like they have to, right? I think that's genuine. And you look at the last chapter between the Celtics and Lakers, like these kids, they weren't, they remember that. They're not that young, right? They remember Kobe. They remember Garnett on the Celtics.
They don't remember that, but you get in that environment. There's a certain feel.
Well, no, I think they do remember it.
No, like Josué, Bobby doesn't even remember.
To that game that is unlike.
Bobby's like 22, man. I'm talking about like 25 to 30-year-olds. I think
they remember it, yeah.
That still resonates with them, right? 10 years ago, they're in high school.
It's still the whole thing with Celtic Lakers. That's still there. It'd be akin to Yankees Red Sox when you see those two teams, but they're just certain, I don't know enough about hockey to say anything about that, but baseball teams I can say, or even football teams. You think about is it still a mystique right now to have the star on the side of your helmet, to be a Dallas Cowboy, as bad as they've been, is it still that mystique? I think that certain franchise will hold that mystique forever, ever in a day.
That is
Cowboys is the best example, Max. That's a really good example, man. When's the last time that, and people, they're still diehard fans. There's still that mystique. There's still that grand franchise right up there with the Patriots, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, people still talk about Jerry Jones and and you look at that team every year, big Cowboy fan, and all they do every year is they continue to suck. They continue to suck, and you're going, man, this is just bad. And then when they lost their quarterback, Zach, last year, it was bad, and they just haven't competed. I mean, you looked at the Washington Washington football team. They end up getting in. They end up having almost a losing record to win their division. So it's just crazy. But you think about great franchises, and you see those shirts, and you just kind of wear them with honor. You remember for a while how it was to be a Chicago Bull fan. That was just
a Celtics fan. It wasn't so long ago.
But the Chicago Bull fan, that's faded away now.
Oh yeah.
Miami Heat, that's faded away now. But you get certain franchises who they live. It's like Pittsburgh Steelers. They live on. Certain franchises just do.
How much, like you mentioned the banners, Joe Swaley, and this has been on the tip of my tongue, as you guys know. Heard Perk mention it. Max, I think you might even have talked about it on radio. How much do the young leaders of the Boston Celtics, Joe Sway, miss the fan motivation in the stands and even the fan hatred in the opposing arenas?
I think that's relevant. I think if you were on this team two years ago, I think you truly understand. I mean, obviously last season you remember what it was like to play at TD Garden, but I think guys like Jaylen and Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, it's a little different for them, right? Because they went deep into the playoffs and they knew how much of an advantage it is to have that. Now, of course, it's not the same, but at the same time, I also think that the Celtics on the road, I don't think whether there's a crowd there or no crowd, I think it's always been that us against them mentality. I don't know if that necessarily helps them or sways them one way or another. If anything, it would probably hurt them, if there were crowds on the road. But I'm with you, because some teams, they feed off of that. Obviously, you see records, the difference between home and away. Some teams, they prefer, or they play better, a little better on the road. But I think this Celtics team could really benefit from some home cooking, the old TD Garden style, for sure.
Maybe soon.
But here's what Nick will say, and this is where I say he's right. What's going to happen is that you're going to have maybe 10% of the crowd there. Going to be.
It's going to look like the ABA.
They finally come in, and then what will Nick say? He'll call me in the middle. They're pumping noise in, Max. They're pumping fan noise in.
Just wait, they have been fan noise.
Wait, let me tell you what Nick called me the other day. He said
yesterday.
Oh my God! He said in New Orleans, what they were doing, they were pumping in. The refs suck. I was like, no, they weren't. He goes
on Twitter.
He said it was on. He said it was.
There were people there.
He said it was on Twitter. And I was like, no,
it was on Twitter.
I said, that's why you can't believe everything on Twitter.
Right.
But I thought I heard it with my own ears.
You hear, Max? It was on Twitter. Like,
wait a minute. Do you think that New Orleans, an NBA team, is going to say, hey, turn that thing on right there and say, the refs
you might
suck.
be right about that. But what did I say, Max? Oh yeah, you might be right about that.
Yeah, you might be right there.
But Josue just said something. There were fans there yesterday. Yeah. Maybe it was the fans saying it.
It might have been
1,000% the fans, Nick. That's the whole point. I mean,
you heard it too.
Yeah, of course. What New Orleans had was incredible. There was legit a crowd there, but the only difference was most home teams, when you're playing against the Celtics, that's what happens, right? It's at least there's always that fraction of 20% of the fans are Celtics fans. So it was a little split. I wouldn't call it 50-50. It was more towards the Pelicans, but there were a lot of Celtics fans there for sure.
So what fan? I'm so confused. Like, what fans are being let in?
There were people in the lower bowl, which is crazy because I thought that they were only going to do balcony only, but there were people in the Loge. But maybe not the lower bowl, but they were in the Loge.
The fans right now at the Garden are going to be in the Loge area.
Are they?
So that's where they're going. That's where they're going to be. I've heard that, where we broadcast now in the Garden, we're going to be moved up a little bit, and the fans are going to be around the bowl, which is going to be weird. I understand that you want to bring fans back, but it's not going to hit until you have a full house again.
It's going to be like the ABA game.
Max ain't going to take no pictures this time. Max like, nope, get away from me. Don't talk to me. I'm working.
Max,
don't give me COVID. Don't give me COVID. Don't.
Oh, I dress up when I come. No, I dress up when I go to the Garden.
You do now?
Yeah.
You're still looking sharp?
I dress up when I go to the Garden, but
I'm thinking with fans
when I'm at Beasley Studio, I'm, oh my goodness. I am bum of the day over in that studio, laid back.
You pull up the sweatpants on.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Hey, Max, is it just me, or I didn't know Brian Scalabrine projects his voice so loud when he's on? Man, I could hear him from up top.
In the halo. Yeah.
Yo, I'm up in the halo and he's screaming. I'm like, man, you about to get into my report.
We are standing beside him and we got headphones on, and he comes off after the game and he is like
screaming.
Let me tell you, I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
And Gorman's so soft spoken.
No, Gorman's not on then.
You don't hear him.
Brian Scalabrine and his closing remarks.
Yeah.
Somebody in the studio.
That's when he got into my report. His voice made it to my report because he was screaming.
He is just like, dude, these are called microphones. They project out. You don't have
to be a mentor. You should be a mentor and tell Scal.
I'm not a mentor that way. These are microphones.
You mind your own business.
You're not trying to scream back to the studio so they can hear.
Help Scal.
Yo, Nick, I looked down, and I was like, I know Max is fucking pissed right now. Like, I just knew it. I just looked at Max, I was like, yo, if I can hear him up here,
I don't even listen. We're out of there probably.
I was going to say he's on the pipe by
minutes.
then.
we get a couple of minutes, and then that's it. That's about all.
So where's this team going to go, guys? I mean, really, I just pulled a D Lemon. I didn't direct that at anyone.
No,
Max,
that was
how
good.
far can this team go?
You know what? That is a great question, and
as constructed,
and as constructed, the way they
as
are
coached
right now, I would say second round. And depending on who they play, they beat somebody in the first round. Second round, that would be tougher. But if they met Philadelphia right now, the way the Phillies playing, or Brooklyn, the way they're playing, I mean, I don't think the Celtics right now, have enough firepower to go with those guys.
But Max, Joe Sway, I'm not cutting you. I have to ask this to both of you. I know you have a comment there, Sway, but what's so different besides Gordon?
What's so different?
Ennis Cantor? I mean, come on.
I would say, honestly, Nick, the focus on defense is one that sticks out to me.
You think Gordon was a vocal leader on defense? He never talked.
Well, no. I'm not saying Gordon. I'm saying overall.
Have to be vocal. They were more connected when Gordon was out there.
That's true.
20% of the time, Joe.
What I've seen right now is this team. They can outscore you, and over the last couple of years, they could out-defend you, and they haven't really defended. You think about yesterday's game.
Oh,
I mean, you're up by 20. You up by 26 points to the opposition. There's no way you lose that game. But they couldn't defend, and then once their jump shots stopped going, and that's
always the case.
Well, how about this? How about just attacking the rim? Getting a couple
please.
That's exactly what the Pelicans were doing, and they were getting to the line over and over again.
They settle for the. Now Jaylen Brown was attacking the rim, but other than that, everybody else was consistently being a jump shooter, and so I just think that, and when they're playing at their best with that team, like yesterday, there was a point when I was like, man, these guys can be really
good. Me too.
Tristan Thompson. And was going along well. He was playing well with Tice, and then you had those
Williams.
You had those three wing guys and Robert Williams. So I just think if they can just get some consistency, man, they could be tough. I tell you what, they're not going to be easy out, and there's not a team that would want to play them because of that.
Well, that's not what opposing teams are saying. I mean, opposing teams are saying Jalen and Jason are no leaders. Sorry, Joe Sway.
Let me ask you, well, that kind of ties into what I'm about to ask Max, because this is something that I think has been a problem. I saw it, right away in the beginning. It seemed like they corrected it, but then they went back to it. It seemed like they started the first quarter like it was the fourth. It was like, Kemba's got to score, Tatum's got to score, whereas it wasn't.
You've been saying that all season.
The ball around, and let's get the best shot available. And that used to be, or at least sometimes throughout the season, you see that. And the best example of that was against the Toronto Raptors, right? 30 assists, 23 pointers. Yeah. Like those 3-pointers, I'm not saying the Celtics can go out there and drop 23s a night, but the reason why they were able to break a record between Pritchard and Shemi Ojale was, again, because when the ball's swinging and you're looking for the best shot, not necessarily the best player to take those open shots, more likely than not, you're an NBA player who can shoot threes, you're wide open, you're going to make those. And you keep and teams don't respect those guys. Pritchard, Ojale, Grant Williams when he wasn't in the rotation. No, not Taco.
Well, I think
you get what I'm saying, Max? Like,
I think one of the things
has to empower these guys.
Well, I think one of the things that happens with this team is you watch the possessions and watch and see if the ball gets stuck. There are many times when the ball gets stuck with Kemba. That definitely gets stuck with Jalen. With Jason, excuse me. Jaylen Brown, normally he's gonna do whatever it is. He's gone. He might even lose the ball.
He's usually attacking. He's just gonna attack.
He's gone. But if you look at Jason, many times it's dribble, stutter step, shake you up, the new age game, and that burns minutes. That burns seconds off the clock, and really doesn't get you. So I think that he's a great player, but he has to execute a little bit more quickly to get everybody involved, and then to keep the defense off balance. If I know a guy's
Tatum.
going to dribble
Yeah,
6,
Tatum.
7, 8 times, and I'm on the other side, I'm just waiting. I'm counting. Okay, he's going to dribble again. He's going to dribble again. He's going to dribble again. He might even come back. When he makes quicker decisions, I think that's the best part for the Celtics.
You know, Max, before the
I
game, I
agree.
was on Sports Hub, 95 Sports Hub with Christian Arkin. And I remember when he was, you know, he's in panic mode, just like, you know, a lot of people coming to Celtics are, or at least Celtics fans are. And, you know, again, we talked about the offense and Tatum making guys better. And I told him, I said, listen, from the very beginning and up until this point, I think that's the next step in Tatum's progression, right? I think I see a lot of a young LeBron James in him. Remember when LeBron was at this stage? I want to say like 2008, when he just lost against the Celtics, where he was in so many difficult positions where it was like, to your point, right? Those Cavalier teammates, they weren't the best, right? Going up against the Celtics, at least the big three.
Not according to
But
Nick.
they were great.
Not according to Nick, right?
Not according to
Best
Nick.
team in the East.
Not
66 wins.
Every decision he made, the margin
People
of
have
error.
short-term memories.
Listen, the margin of error was so different for someone like him because he had to make those decisions. He had to carry that burden. And I think that's what made him an excellent player once he figured out how to empower his teammates. I think that's what the next step is for Tatum.
You know, I'm gonna jump.
That's true. I think that's true.
I think that you're both forgetting that Jaylen Brown went, I think, a streak of games during that really bad stretch where I don't think he logged an assist for 3 games. I think he had 1 assist in 5. I was just what I was looking at.
I'm not too concerned about Jaylen because Jaylen most of the time he has to take on the best player on the court, right? Or at least the best opposing player. So on offense, if he's in attack mode, if he's attacking the rim or taking those pull up or those wide open 3-pointers, I'm okay with that. I'm looking for guys like Tatum and Kemba to be the top distributors in that lineup.
When I hear you making your teammates better, I think that's an ingredient to an all-star or a superstar. You've got to have more than 0 assists.
Well,
no.
Well, I think it's true.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's true, but you have to look at it this way, Nick. If you pass the ball and somebody doesn't make the shot.
That is a really good point, and no one else is making shots.
That's what Jaylen would say.
That is, he might pass it to somebody. They don't make the shot, then it goes for naught. So I think you look at it. But you know what we're not talking about? We're not talking about really one thing. We're not talking about the glue of this team. And we see how valuable Marcus Smart.
Thank you. Yeah.
All these people who have been on this, Marcus Smart, I hate what he does.
He
shoots too much. He doesn't
playmaster.
What he does is he connects this team on the defensive end like nobody else. And because of him controlling the initial point of attack on the defensive end, it helps their defense. Right now, they don't have him. So they don't have that person controlling the initial point of attack. And he is believe it or not, he is their best. He's their best facilitator. He's their best passer. So there are all these things you miss about him, the intangibles. That's what people aren't focused on right now. They're just focused on the losses, which I understand, but they also need to focus on that part too.
In the fairness, it's the style of losses. But Marcus, we're forgetting about the emotion. Had he been there yesterday, our boy Gary Washburn would have been perched outside the locker room because I think Marcus would have excuse my mouth, he would have flipped the hell out on that second unit. Max, when you were playing, you're starting, second unit comes in, they blow a 30-point lead, and KC has to put you back in the game. You guys would have had you'd have had something to say about that probably. That would have been terrible.
But you know, you
had a great bench.
But yeah, that's
that helped.
The big difference in when you're talking about
when
you're talking about having McHale and Danny Ainge and Scott Whitman and all these guys come. So you're talking about a different brand. It's like Michael Cooper was talking before. And he's saying how, the Lakers had a great bench. Celtics had a great bench. You don't have. That's the thing about the NBA is it's so diluted now. When you start thinking about you get past your 7, then the rest of the guys might not even play. And I'm telling you, I've been so disappointed. I thought he was going to have a great year with Jeff Teague. I thought Jeff Teague was really, And
No.
Jeff Teague is just
So did Danny Ainge.
struggled. He has struggled mightily. And I mean, he started out this year. He wasn't, he was pretty good knocking down shots. But then the last,
that one game, bro.
yeah, the
one
last
season opener.
the
that
last
was it.
5-6 games, I don't even know. Did Brad even play him yesterday? I mean, I don't know. Did he? I don't really
I
remember.
hope he didn't.
It must have been for a second or two, but I think he might have played for a couple of seconds. But
I don't think he did, bro.
I mean, Brad
think he
Thompson
did.
level and Jeff Teague is kind of gone south. Tristan Thompson made a great point.
He's out the rotation.
And one thing you're starting to see is Tristan Thompson rounding his game to playing shape. And he made a great point by saying he hasn't played basketball in almost a year.
And you've been saying that, Max, all season.
Yeah.
You've been saying that. Well, do you guys had him post game yesterday, Tristan?
No, we only have post game winners.
Oh shit!
You sound like Trump. That's a very Trumpian thing to
know.
say.
That's just a true
Shots
statement.
fired.
The only time we get guests is after a Celtic win.
So what did Alonzo Ball have to say? No.
Well, we used to, it's real funny. We used to do that. And we would get back then, because the Celtics won't win the games, we'd have post game. We'd get post game from the opposing team. And I'm trying to think of the guy's name. He played in Houston. He was a guard. And God, what was his name?
He was a guard. What year?
Played it. I'm gonna tell you. Okay, I'm gonna give you the clues because
Skip to my Lou.
He played.
Ray Fralston.
He started out with
Robert Reed.
Maryland. He started out playing with Maryland, and he ended up being in Houston later on. Oh man, I cannot think of his name. But essentially, we had him as a guest.
Didn't he turn his chair to you? Is this the way?
No, we gave him a gift certificate for some jewelry. It was like about $300-400 gift certificate. You're like, what am I gonna do with this?
What did you say? I'll take it.
I got Steve Francis. Steve Francis was.
Oh, it's Francis. Oh, yeah,
Steve
Maryland.
Francis essentially came out, and after he did the interview, gave him a gift certificate. He looked at like, what?
Did he take it, or did he leave it?
Ended up giving it back to us.
He said, "I can't even get a nice pinky ring with this."
Man, I can't get nothing for $300.
You just insulted me as I'm rocking my platinum chain over here.
My God! All right. Chew on this. The Celtics have.
Yeah, that's a great era in basketball, though, man.
Yeah, it was. The Celtics have one more win than the Knicks right now. It is going to be the TP that is going to pretty much get this team back in order, isn't it? He needs to bring in John Collins. Who's he bringing with this? Max,
I don't think
you have the bat
big
line.
Fish, Max. What do you think? I don't think it's a big fish.
John Collins was good in the first game, and in the second game against the Celtics.
Yeah. But see, big Collins fans, they didn't mention that one, right? They don't talk about the first one.
It was as if he didn't play.
Really,
all you Celtics fans out there, it's all you want. You all only want to focus on the first one, right? The first outing.
I think he could help you out in the post, but I would want
Barnes
with a little bit. Yeah, Barnes would be the guy.
Barnes would be good
because I think that Barnes comes in, and Harrison Barnes can be a consistent scorer. You put him in the corner, he's gonna knock down jump shots, and he can drive towards the hoop. And it's really funny though. Semi Ojeleye has been really good this year. Mm-hmm. But do you really? And I think you have to put. Do you want to put your trust in him? That he would, or would you? Okay, you answered that one. Answer that one.
They always got to talk with in the middle. Answer your question.
He answered.
I know what he's going to ask. No, I don't.
I mean, Simeon's been a real good defender, and he shot the ball well this year. But you just don't trust that. You don't trust that car.
Do you?
No, I'm saying you. You're saying I asked you the question.
Well, I just said no.
I said no, Nick. What you mean?
I said no.
I think.
You mean in to be consistent in crunch time?
Well,
to rely on.
Here's what I think you get with Harrison Barnes. You get a more reliable shooter.
No question.
And you get a guy who has a championship pedigree.
Mhm.
And because of that, I think
They're lacking that.
I think he gives you an upgrade on how to win. And
Mhm.
that, to me, that is so important for a young team, because there was a time, I think against Atlanta, and you looked out on the floor and the Celtics were so young. Robert Williams was the oldest guy they had out there on the floor at 25 years old. That's why I think a guy like Barnes, who is a total professional, can shoot the ball, uh, brings you that championship experience. You got to love it.
I agree. Josue?
Yeah, no question. I mean, that's the guy on top of my list. I'm not crazy about Drummond or bringing in a big.
Please.
I like this. I call it the three-headed monster. I like it. I think for the Celtics right now, they have to obviously continue to work at it and figure it out. But I think they can figure this thing out between the three of them, between Thompson, between Robert Williams, between Tice. All three of them bring something to the table, and
Yeah.
it's all different, but it's all necessary for the Celtics team. So I'm hoping they address that wing position. I do. I like Harrison Barnes. I just don't know if realistically does it happen without putting in someone like Marcus Smart. I mean, Max, let me ask you that. I mean, how do you?
Yeah.
I don't
Have what?
I don't envision the Sacramento Kings trading somebody who's not gonna, his contract's not gonna run out. They can still hold on to him, and they could probably get a better package deal than getting a couple pieces from the Celtics, right? If I'm the Sacramento Kings, I'm not even going to answer the phone if you're not trading me Marcus Smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
was that in the deal?
This is Harrison Barnes you're talking about.
That's a Danny drop player.
Well, there are some teams, Josue, that are trying to eventually downgrade so they can be in the lottery again. Do you think Sacramento is going to be one of those?
Sacramento's been the star of that.
Do you think
concept?
Sacramento's going to be one of those teams?
They've done well for themselves, right? Buddy Hield, Halliburton.
What you do is you move players, and you don't know. The thing about we don't know who's going to be available, and I think that's a big thing. We don't know who's going to be available, and until then, that's going to be it.
Yeah, that's true.
Last topic, quick.
Okay.
A lot of Danny bashing, a lot of Doc. Blast from the back. A lot of Danny blasting, a lot of Brad blasting. Oh, I'd take Doc back in a heartbeat.
You would have took Doc back last summer.
I cried when he left, just like when Max got traded. Only I was 45. No, I'm just kidding.
I would have kept that to myself.
No, a lot of Danny and Brad bashing. Do they hold any of the blame here? I mean, Danny obviously puts the teams together.
Everybody.
I mean,
Nick, this don't.
Everybody
I feel
does.
like that everybody is part of this. Part of the things that are going on with this team, and it starts with your coaches, goes to the players, and it goes with the people who are selecting players. So I don't think that anybody is immune to saying that you looked at this team and you would think that the New York Knicks would be one game right now behind the Boston Celtics. You'd have never thought that. And with the kind of talent that you have on this team. But again, I think that we're missing that valuable part that we're not talking about how good this team is with Marcus Smart. And that ends the conversation, because you are missing one of the best players on your team. And without him, you're not going to know where you stand until you get him back, until you make that trade exception.
The swagger that this team is missing is palpable without Marcus. Go ahead, Josue.
No, I agree to that to a certain extent, though. But I think the most important player is someone else in the backcourt. I think it's Kemba Walker, and I think he's shown me a lot of positive signs. And listen, from the beginning, I wasn't necessarily worried about Kemba, because for me, it was he needs to be the eye test. I don't care what the box score looks like for those first 10, 12 games that he's back. I want to make sure that he's moving the right way. And he's been doing that. And now he's starting to pick up some momentum here. So I think that's very important for this team. Obviously, you want to work him off the ball a little more. You want to try to make things easier for him. I thought Brad Stevens mentioning that to the public was really important, to let everybody know that obviously he's in the transition phase into getting his fatigue back. So that's a big part in this as well. But yeah, I mean, Marcus Smart is a huge part of this identity. The defense, of course. Because these guys didn't have to step it up on the defensive end. There's no question that this team can put up points in a hurry, and that they have players even off that second bench. We talk about how thin they are, but they can put up points. We've seen it already.
Well,
So
you
I
think,
think
yeah,
it's a matter of finding consistency, but that consistency that's going to come from the defensive end first before it
yeah.
trickles down to the offensive end on the floor.
And that's how they're connected through Marcus on that end.
Yeah,
As
so true.
much as people talk about his offense, I think he's very valuable offensively, but defensively, he is like he is their man. And without him, they've just not been, because there are times when you think about it, if a Buddy Hield was scoring against you, what do you say? Hey, Marcus Smart, you go get that dude. Let's shut him down. Porzingis, you need to be on him. He has been, and I'll say it again, under 7 feet tall. Take out Mr. Russell, take out Garnett. Marcus Smart is the best defender the Celtics have ever had. Nick, don't cry, okay? Don't say, because you'll be going, but Larry, I want somebody.
Oh, come on. He was third team all defense twice, or second team.
That's what me and Kevin McHale used to say going.
I know. It's because you guys guarded the hard players to guard. One more thing. This is a Max favorite. Fan take. Fan take. People are saying, bring back Terry, get rid of Kemba. Max, I got to get the reaction from Max here. Goes away.
You got to be kidding me with this.
Look at Max's face. That's all that needs to be said.
I can't even see it right now.
I think that
now I see
Kemba, what Kemba gave you last year, when he first got here, was unreal. He was as consistent as he is connected with the fan base. I think it's going to be, let him get healthy, and he's going to be fine.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm with you, man. And you know what? If there's one person on this team that knows about struggling in the NBA, especially for over a decade in Charlotte, or at least close to it, it's Kemba Walker. So Kemba is going to be, and he, of course, said nothing but the right things Monday after practice. So I mean, I'm not worried about Kemba Walker for sure. I just think obviously his health, barring any other injuries or something else flaring up, I like the Celtics' chances with Kemba continuing on this path to returning to who he was.
Okay.
I agree. And that will be a wrap. I'm Nick Gelso, with the honor of being asked to kind of host these two legends.
Good job, Nick.
I like this
host voice you got going on. It's like this game
you
show
like it?
/ podcast.
Well, it's kind of like a 1970s match game, You're too young to know that. Max knows it. Look at him laughing.
I don't even know what that means.
I got that long stick mic,
What's a match?
Oh, dude, go on YouTube. It is classic shit. Classic. And I'm doing my best Bob Barker voice.
All right, so Nick, tell me, who wins the car, man? Who wins the convertible?
Not Max. They gave out a watch that year, so
you know what? With that, it's time to leave Zoom now.
Hold on, real quick, Max. Real quick. I'm listening to this rap song. I don't remember what song it was, but the guy goes, I'm rocking a Rolex now. I ain't got no more Seikos. I lost it, man. I thought of you right away.
Oh.
It said it in the credits, dedicated to Cornbread Maxwell, MVP.
I thought of you right away. I was like, man, I know someone got a Seiko.
Thank you.
I know somebody rocking
All right,
Seikos.
gentlemen. All right.
Cedric Maxwell podcast powered by Marigal Medical. And Max is going to be dunking soon. We'll talk more about that later next show. Thanks all.